Hi, good morning. We're here with Anne-Marie Cousins from AMC Design. How you doing, Anne-Marie?
Hi, good morning. How are you?
Yeah, really well, thank you. So if we could start things off, and as usual, just if you could give us a little bit more background as to who you are, what it is you do, and how long you've been doing it for, please.
I'm Anne-Marie Cousins. I founded AMC Design 10 years ago. We're an interior design studio based in West Yorkshire with projects across the UK.
Excellent. And how did you get to start in Ilkley then?
I started in Ilkley because I moved here about 13 years ago. So it was I started off working in my attic. So geographically, it was just where I lived. So, and then we moved out for a while, and then during the pandemic realized we never used the studio, so we built a garden studio. So I've got a very short commute.
Very nice indeed. So, what makes you different then from other interior designers out there?
I think there's a couple of things that we do that not everybody else does. We are known for how we introduce color into projects, and for some clients that will mean colored cushions into a neutral scheme, and that for them is a lot. For other people it'll be a riot of color. We have one project a couple of years ago where I'm not sure there was anything left that wasn't colored on this project. And also we stay on a project end to end, from first concept to the last cushion being put in place. So we take away as much of the hassle and much of the stress as possible from our clients so they can get on with their busy lives. And so that we can ensure that we work with the trades to make sure the project is implemented as envisaged from the outset.
Excellent. So, um, 10 years. It's a good long stint in business to date. So, what's that business journey been like? If you could describe it in one word and then expand on it from there.
It has been an evolution.
An evolution. Okay. Not heard that one before. That's a good one.
Well, I guess because I had a career before this,
Mhm.
I came to this very organically. This had been something I'd always wanted to do. I remember meeting my dad for a coffee at uni and at 19 saying, I think I really want to be an interior designer. And it took me until I was 35 to leave my old career, had a career break, and then started to work in interiors, having done a really big project on my house. And and I think that's why it has evolved, because it started out as many people do in design, working for friends, taking on small projects. So over the years, we have become clearer on our processes. We've become clearer on how both the back office processes and also the design processes and our processes for managing our relationship with the contractors or the trades to make the process as efficient as possible and to make it as comprehensive as possible. Um, so that's why I think evolution applies to us. And throughout that journey, the team has evolved from me by myself, just working around my commitments in my own life, to having a team. We've now got three of us. And that has kind of flexed as to the projects that we have. And we've also got some freelancers who we work with when we're at capacity.
Brilliant.
Um, and evolution also allows us flexibility going forward. So it feels like the mainstay of how I've grown the business.
Fantastic. So it sounds like you've learned how to grow or grow and run a business at the same time as following a passion for what you wanted to do.
Yeah, exactly. And I think my old career, so I was a lawyer previously. I was a litigator in the city, and which actually is a problem-solving job, which means you need to be really organized and you need to do a lot of client relationships, client management, because litigation is inherently stressful. You know,
Mhm.
if you are either being sued or you are suing somebody because a big business dispute has gone wrong or because there has been fraud, which is mainly what we did, it's a stressful thing. So, and I always loved the talking to the clients part, like analyzing the problem, discovering what the problem looks like it is, and then discovering what the problem actually is.
Mhm.
And that's really similar to interiors, that our clients might come to us saying, we definitely want this style, or we definitely want this palette. And then as we probe nicely and get to know them and their lifestyle. So if somebody wants a very neutral palette that's got lots of silk fabrics, but they're mountain bikers or runners, or they've got kids and dogs and stuff, we're like, well, that's not really going to be easy to live with. So actually, this is how we combine what you are drawn to, say when you go to bars and restaurants and hotels,
Yeah.
or when you see magazines, versus your setting, your building, and your lifestyle. So I love that marrying together of the things they don't know are problems in their life or in their lifestyle, plus the practicalities.
There's a similarity with coaching there that is brought to mind, where people present, say, with one topic for discussion, but once you get underneath it, if they find, and we find, that it's something could be quite different, but it's the root cause of how you can improve, get better. Yeah,
Always. And I think people come to us, it sounds like very much coaching as well as for interior design. They come to us because we know what we're talking about. And when clients aren't in the design world, they sometimes just don't have the language to explain the problem properly. So like you say, sometimes you have to talk around the problem so that they can explain in a different way something that we could conceptualize quite quickly. And actually developing the relationship so that they can speak to us about those things. Because it is most of our work is residential. So you're talking about people's homes. So it's very personal. You're talking about their lifestyle, and also you're talking about real money. It's not just money that is there for commercial development. So that's really important, because you have to have that openness to the dialogue so that you can all be really straight with each other in a kind way, and you can deliver the hard truth. Like, we had a project a few years ago, they discovered 50 grand's worth of asbestos in the house. Like, that's not a good day for anybody. But by being along that journey of learning what their priorities are, what their concerns are, you can navigate those hurdles.
Fantastic. Yeah, it's interesting hearing the similarities between your industry and ours when it comes to dealing with customers or clients, or helping people with their presentation of, I said, not problem is the right word, but their presentation of their query, I suppose, with how they can solve it. So that's a great share. Thank you. So what does the future look like for AMC Design, and what do you see as the areas for opportunity or challenges ahead?
I think technology has changed things, like for so many of us over the last few years, that we are now, we've used an online platform for a long time to house lots of our know-how, lots of our presentation information. But that, combined with Zoom, means that we are now doing projects much further afield without the need to always travel there. So that's been a huge gift. We're also recently involved with a charitable project where we're working on a special school in South Yorkshire. So we're moving into that world more, which is hugely rewarding and quite sad when you see the state of this special school for the lack of funding for the last 30 or 40 years. So they're probably the two big things, that we are no longer tied geographically to. It used to be probably like maybe a couple of hours of our studio in Ilkley, whereas we're just finishing up a project that's in the Channel Islands. We're just about to start off another one in Somerset, and obviously normally a Somerset project, the logistics would just be too much to overcome, let alone the Channel Islands. And it's been fine. The Channel Islands one, it will wrap up in about the next 2 weeks, and then we get to go down and take some photographs, which would be great.
Excellent. I like the way you used the word gift there when you said Zoom, rather than any other sort of word that you could have chosen, but it's a nice reflection of gratitude, perhaps, that
Well, it's not 2020, so I can feel grateful for Zoom because I'm not trying to teach my children through Zoom all the time.
Yeah. I think we all need to move on from that memory. Yeah. Brilliant. So what's the biggest lesson you've learned so far along the way being in business?
I would say, first of all, trust your instinct. Always trust your instinct, because there isn't one absolute answer or absolute solution thing. You just need the right thing for your business. So, and ultimately it comes down to you. So just trust yourself. Outsource where appropriate, or hire in people who complement your skills. So the first hire I had was a freelance accountant who just took away all of that from me. And then and the first hire actually I made, she was hugely talented, but she's an interior designer, interior design graduate. I didn't really need an interior design graduate at that point, and it was only by hiring her that I realized I needed somebody to support me on all the back office stuff so that I could do the designs, because we
Yeah.
weren't big enough yet to need 2 designers. So now going forwards, I always, both personality wise and skills wise, I think, okay, what are the gaps? What are the things either I don't want to do, or that as a team is the
Mhm.
thing that, is the last thing everybody wants to do.
Yeah.
That's where I hire. So yeah, trust your instinct and fill the gaps in your skill set.
Really good shares there. Yeah, we have something called a fun skill matrix that we help people with, work out where your most value is, what you enjoy doing, and then outsource or systemize the other areas that you don't feel that you're strong in or that you don't want to do. So that's another great share.
That's really interesting, because I had a conversation with a former client who does social media marketing a few years ago,
Mhm.
and she said, Anne-Marie, clients want to see you and they want to know you've added the magic stuff into design, and nobody else really cares what else you do. Somebody needs to do it, to do
Yeah,
the spec sheets or to do the purchase orders or all that kind of stuff.
yeah,
Get other people to do that. And that was the best early advice I ever got.
fantastic. Thank you for that share. So what inspires you to do what you do? I mean, I could hazard a guess being in the industry that you're in and the passion that you have for it. But again, maybe a reflection on that, as well as working with your team and customers and friends, family.
I think the thing that inspires me, both from the business side and also on the design side, is unapologetic decision making, which I think probably ties back into the trusting your gut.
Yeah,
And obviously, so what we do, it's about 80% logistics and being organized, and about 20% creativity. So, and it feels like on the inspiration side, there's a need to constantly top up the visual inspiration so that you can just have ideas, because they come from really weird places. There's not a linear path of saying, okay, you're gonna go to a big design show like Decorex, and then you come back with loads of inspiration. Actually, it might be that you see somebody there who's wearing really cool trainers, and you really like how that color goes with the pattern of the stand they're standing next to, and it gives you an interesting idea. Or that you go to an art exhibition and how they've used light in order to light that exhibition. You go, oh, that's really. And in fact, I went to a concert the other week, and afterwards I was talking to my friend going, that staging was really interesting, and I really want to know how they did that lighting. And my friend, who does not work in this sector, was just a bit like, I just thought it was cool. I was like, yeah, it was cool.
yeah,
So that's, I mean, there's a really wide range of
yeah,
sources of inspiration. On the business side, what I really am drawn to is talking to other people who have small businesses, who have grown them, but also have grown them kind of with integrity, so that they know what their vision is. Not saying that people aren't acting with integrity, but kind of knowing what is the right solution for them, and keeping going with that without reference to saying, okay, the industry norm or my sector norm is to do this.
yeah.
So I worked full time doing this from my kids being quite young. So, and I think that's quite unusual. There's lots of women who do this while juggling with their kids more. And actually, that was the right thing for me, and that's totally fine for other people that they took a different path. And that's what I mean about, following other people who grow their business in the same type of, have the same type of dynamic. I find that really important, so that you can see the path ahead that somebody else has taken.
Brilliant. You seem to have a lot of clarity in that inspiration, which is fantastic to hear. So thank you for that again. So if you were to go back in time, meet yourself at 18, or to perhaps meet someone who's younger, just starting out in business, what would the piece of advice be that you would like to share with them?
Get really good experience, whether it's work experience or whether it's thinking about the range of projects that you want to work on. Say yes to as much as possible and trust your gut. Because if you get really good experience, if you say yes to as many things as possible, you will learn to know the type of people you want to work with, the type of projects you want to work with, the type of personalities that you really gel with and that you find really easy, that brings out the best in you and that you add your best work to. And you'll find the kind of people, the kind of projects that really feel like hard work for you, that you're just not the right fit. And I think the sooner you get clarity around that, the sooner you will have like a really joyful approach to your working life and really enjoy it. And we all do our best work when we are, fully in flow and fully immersed in it, and not wondering about why I feel a disconnect or why I feel like I don't quite fit in this project or this team or this whatever. So, and I guess that comes back to what I was talking about earlier about trusting your gut. I think it's really important at every stage of life to know that actually, it's such a almost cliche that, you only get one life. You're the only one who has to live with the consequence of your decisions, on a day-to-day basis. And so you have to be the one who's enjoying the amount of time that you devote to your working life. Because when you look back, it amounts up to, a huge proportion of your waking hours. And if it's something that you have felt like, oh, I really like my sector, but this boss, I don't feel like I gel with them, and I don't feel like I know my place here. Nobody wants to get to the end of their life and think, I was nearly doing the right thing. So I think trust your instinct from an early stage and just ask people for help. Most people are really nice. Most people want to help. And most people, if you ask them nicely, will happily, let you buy them a cup of coffee and just ask for, what do you think?
Brilliant. It's almost reflective of fail fast analogy, where just, as you say, try things. Great a piece of advice shared there that I was thinking, I'll be telling my kids that don't worry about trying things, and if they don't go right, that's a win, because that's not for me. Move on. And then try and find the things that you do connect with, as you say. So
I think, like you say, not staying stuck in a decision, thinking that because you make a decision at, whether it's when you leave school at 18 or in your early 20s, I think our generation, we have, it's different, say, our parents' generation, when lots of people got a job at 16 or 18 or 21 and stayed there for the duration. I hope our kids' generation is much more aware, you're kind of thinking maybe 5 years, maybe 10 years, and then just trust that the rest will come out in the wash. And actually, often when we talk to our clients about projects, we say, just think about 10 years, because in 10 years, your life will be different again. And you kind of can't really imagine what that's going to be like at this point. So just trust that you're making a decision that's 10 years. Because I think if, say, at 22, when I finished my degree, I thought, what am I going to do for the next, say, 40 years till I'm about retirement age? It's too much. Whereas if I'd said, okay, what do I want to do for my 20s? It's a very different thing.
That's it. Yeah, reflective of where you are at that point in life. So good share. Thank you. So lastly then, Anne-Marie, in terms of any latest news, or even if it's a case of sharing your website, so people watching know where to find you, can understand more about what you do, feel free to do that now.
Well, we've literally just had a new website finished being completed over the weekend. So that's very exciting, or at least it's exciting for me. It's amcinteriordesign.co.uk. And as I said, we are later this year celebrating our 10th birthday since I set up AMC Design. Thank you very much. I know, kind of feels like quite a big thing. Yeah, thanks. So there's going to be some new projects which we will be announcing shortly. And I think at the moment, the big project that we're working on is the Yorkshire Big Build with the Yorkshire Children's Charity, this special school in Rotherham. So there's just been a project launch for that, and there'll be more coming later this year. So that's quite a big thing that we're working on at the moment. And it's a huge honor to be involved in this. There's so many contractors and consultants giving their time and advice to this project. So it's a huge privilege to be involved in that.
Brilliant. Well, I wish you all the best for that and for the future success of your business. And thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you so much.